Okay. Good morning again. Morning. Now you can put the book into the side. You don't have to.
Good morning.
That's good. Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning, Geshe.
Good morning, Geshe.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you guys? You got comfortable in your house? That's funny. I'm looking for that. Yeah. Those people here are very hardworking. Stand up, looking, stand. You guys can, Anyway, just kidding. So wonderful, right? Beautiful day. We don't luck very good. Someone's unmute? It's me or who?
I think it's okay right now.
Okay. You guys are not allowed to. You guys lost the freedom of the speech. Right? Here we can talk. You guys are not allowed to talk. All guys doesn't have the freedom to talk. Anyway, I'm just kidding. It's it's a wonderful, beautiful day. We don't want it too cold. We don't want it too hot. We don't want it rainy. But it is nothing. Like, no hot, no cold, no rain, right? We don't know what tomorrow's weather, but today is good, and we rejoice that, like that. As Buddhism, always you say, keep your own mind, most important. Your mind accept, doesn't matter what situation, then it doesn't much bother you. Your mind doesn't accept, it really bothers, right? And it's also damage for our body. Therefore, always keep our mind to stable or peace over our body. It's important to always. Then we study practice, special all have to do practice meditation, bodhichitta, compassion, loving kindness. It's not easy. Doing these things also not easy to see the results. In order to see result, you need to effort. As like Sammy said, when we need to finish college, become doctor or lawyer or professor. It's a lot of effort, right? In order to win the Olympic gold medal, you need a lot of effort. Same to that, also we need to see the result. It's our practice. We need to today do, tomorrow stop. This week do, next week stop, not like that. We need to continue. And when we go to how to say, grow some vegetables or flowers, we have to put continuous same temperature, water, everything. Then we can see the result. Same. If we put today too much water, then maybe tomorrow die. Then you don't put the water, then they will die. Exactly all the things looks go same way. All the conditions need interaction like that, right? Therefore, we're going to learn meditation, okay? Now, as you come, sit and comfortable as much as you can at your place. First, try to keep your mind, the thought, start you from head, go through all your body, to scan your own body, your own mind. Just slowly. Under your head, neck, the chest, the thigh, the leg, the feet. How to feel that means to feel all your body. Then how to start slowly, breathing in and out a couple times. When you breathe out, your mind feel you bring out. You bring in, your mind feel you bring in. It's a couple times. Then in front of you is image and Buddha, as you do usually. The Shakyamuni, Lama Tsongkhapa, Mother Tara, Guru Rinpoche. This depends on your own practice. Your visualization that in front of you, very colorful, clear. It's possible not just statue, it's a real living Buddha looking for you and smiling. If someone has very strong faith, luck, they smile to you, you feel also very happy. It's taught to like that. The image the Buddha become more color or more very fresh. It sends some blessings from the heart through your head. It's go through your own body, inside, outside. It's purify or wash away all our physically and mentally emotions, negativities. Will it all come out our body? It's like black color. A very dirty water will come out our body, go under the ground. If under the ground also not just spirit, they will call one of the beings we call the Yama. You can visualization as someone of beings. Open the mouth, looking for that. It all our dirty waters go into their mouth. It become food for them. And it also feel for the voices that close their mouth. And our body, physically and mentally, feel the very peace and relax, joyful the moment. The blessing of peace or happy feeling become like a white cloud, come out our body, we go all of the world, something like sun rays on the wall. It reached for all the beings all of the world. It become who's looking for food, it become food. Who's looking for the medicine, it become medicine. Anything anyone's looking for, they become that wishes. Then you feel much better, you enjoy the moment, try to peace or joyful feeling, keep the mind at that moment. Then visualization, you feel for all the beings as same experience of you right now. Okay, now I can slowly come back to your meditation. Okay, are you guys doing meditation? Are you sleeping there? Good. You know, yeah. Then we do like a little group meditation every time, everywhere. Maybe you guys do better than that, but this I'm just trying to very beginner meditation. First, we need to keep the very good foundation, very stable foundation, very comfortable, very easy one. Then we can build up that more. First, we try to go up very top, then we fall down. Like was when they need to build the very, how is it, high buildings.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, many high buildings, many floors. I call cap.
Scraper.
Okay. In order to build like that, you need to very very stable, strong foundation. Therefore, in order to develop our practice, we need to also very stable foundation. And one of the foundation also as Buddhism is we need to like a refuge, very strong, faithful refuge. We think, oh, maybe Buddha doesn't blessing or Buddha doesn't have the power. Yes, Buddha doesn't have power. When Buddha had power, if we don't have the faith, it doesn't work. There's a our faith is the same as like when the fisherman have to catch the fish, we call the hook. Yeah, hook. Yeah. Even Buddha has power, blessing, but we need to the hook of the faith. If we don't have a hook of faith, the faith is like hook. If you don't have hook, you cannot catch the fish. Or you can put the big curricula, big net, then they can catch the one. Yeah, hook. Like that. Therefore, faith is like example, like hook. And if you have very good hook, but the very like the fisherman has very good hook for the larder, because both worms, then the fish come out, they jump, they can catch. The same we have very strong faith of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then we get the blessings from that. Why it come? Buddha is not ego. If only you have faith, you get a blessing. If you don't have faith, you don't get blessing. Buddha is not ego. Ego? It's an ego or what we say? And he doesn't look at ego. It's discrimination. Say, I like that, I don't like that one. Yeah. Yeah. Not like that. This is, when we trust Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we have faith Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we follow Buddha's advice. We do the Buddha's advice. Then we got the benefit, right? The same love is when we have, I think everyone has very strong faith, our doctors, right? My doctor said that. My doctor said that, everyone just, or my daughter told me, don't do that. They're very strong. I don't know, faith or trust. I think we can say trust. If we trust the doctor, we follow doctor's advice. If we follow doctor's advice, we keep our body very healthy body. Basically, it's not everyone, right? Maybe like general, it's like this country, people pretty healthy, Or they're sick, that they're sick and they live very long time. I think there's things also. Then you find the disease early. Then there are so many doctors give so many different medicines. I think any kind of disease, if we find early, is also keep easy to reduce, to cure, cure is very complicated. Cure the disease. Like that. Anyway, faith is like trust. Now, trust means not just like blind trust. You need to reason. Therefore, Buddha is the whole founder the Dharma. The Dharma is Buddha's advice. Sanghas who's practice that Buddha's teaching, or who can help for us to Buddha's teaching. Therefore, in order to cure our disease, you need to doctor, you need to nurse, you need to medicine. Exactly that. we all follow that, then we all recover that this is same as Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is our refuge in order to free from the samsara suffering. They will say, what means samsara suffering? I'm fine, I have job, I have house, I have family, I'm good. Right? We think that. Yeah, that's true. We have always something to complain. But tomorrow, 3 days complaint finish, we say, oh, maybe the problem's gone. No, not another problem. This is samsara suffering we call it. No. Therefore, in order to free from that, we need to do something. It's also that what to do, those all the lot of sufferings, it's not just come from outside. It also depends our own things, on thoughts, or on mind. Like that, okay? Therefore, what the best practice, what to do, free from the sufferings, reduce our delusions. There are many ways. The one way is the practice for bodhicitta. Right? Now we study as the great text guide to the Bodhisattva Way. It's in His Holiness also mentioned that this is the one of the most powerful, very meaningful or many important texts. Then he said always we need to practice this. Okay, my English is finished. My English is, but it is gone. And we cannot charge. And any company doesn't have the charge or the charge for Maca English. Anyway, yeah, okay, come to here. Good, yeah, there. Yeah, the shunjuk the pay museum the counter, Shanjuk Sem, Nicola, that tell us how I may. I just chop it in anybody.
So this text, the Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life, it's the best text on bodhicitta. There's no better text than that. And the bodhicitta, is very beneficial mind to generate.
Any Nyamle Cheting, any tone of the young Shanjigo Center, Tapi Chimbo is.
So that benefit of the bodhicitta is seen by all these Buddhas who have contemplated for many eons.
Dana Shingi, any got a Timmy Jewa and the Tomambo Yang. Aja Randa Yenji ten Tarshima Dvala Shanjo Center de Pinchbo, shall survive Bares.
And also so the valid person like Buddha Shakyamuni, so that the bodhicitta is the most beneficial mind to generate, through which one can benefit oneself and others.
Echajan Gadun Jitin Delaya Kanji Shawa Chimbo Jidogoana, and the Lojo the Sharaka Chimbo, Lojo Yongi Digi Shawa Yabu Chavanaya, Shuchimbo Chetagori, Shawa Dusha Chavan Shuchimbo Chetagoro.
So, for example, in this world, if you want to do something great, then you have to have a high level education or knowledge, right? So with the high level education and knowledge, you can do great things. It can be good thing or bad thing. All these things can be done by the great knowledge person.
And the Lojo Shira Mingi do a chatna Shuchimbo Chetomar, the Lojo Yongi Miti Lagadojana could Nibachana, such a chain.
So is it like that? A person with the knowledge, with a person without the knowledge, when they do bad things, can they do very bad things? Can that bad thing cause big destructions or harm to others? No, you can't, right? So, the person without much knowledge will not be able to cause harm much or like benefit much either.
아 간들 아니 다 제외 참 가래 재미게 제외서 가리라는 간제 송의 체마 있는 제외서만 잡죠. 송 체마 있는 세대 강한 송마데 의분에서 간제 의분에서 따다래요나 아니 송 체마시 강한 송마데 의분에서 따다는 되면은 송 체마 많이 받쳐그래.
And so the valid person I mentioned earlier, the valid person is someone whose speech is valid. And when you say speech is valid or not, is whatever he or she is teaching. If that accords with the meaning, then it's valid. If it doesn't accord with the meaning, then it's not valid.
제가 담을래 몇개라 전부 드린 것도 미디 깨져 셨다. 내가 제단한테 응원이 다 쇼돌로 펜바 니바 톱 첨부에나 오데 미디 직제했습니다. 사무기지. 내가 이치지다 용도.
So like in this world, there's somebody who is very good at good at talking and who can attract so many people and benefit. And then when that person speaks, then they say, "Oh, this is something that we have to listen to, or we can believe," and so forth, right?
어제 따지어 참아서들이 전에 된대게 제어 참아 두고 아니 지금 된 초도 줘봐. 아니 된 탑도 줘봐라. 샹주고 셈는 초도 줘봐. 쓰기 어려서 어떤 거
So that is the valid person. And so such kind of valid person or valid people have seen that bodhicitta is the most supreme mind for benefiting others in a greater way.
아 대매제 아니 스방 코알레 파 아니 다 둥아 자다 트도 동로마 더파 타바도 해나요? 아니 샹주고 셈데 공고에 말해서
And not only that, but if you want to help benefit, help numberless sentient beings to be free from suffering or samsara, then you have to meditate on bodhicitta.
And 다 나중에 지금 샘지지 문제가 둥아데 파 쌓야게 전 서반도 왔나요? 장주 샘고나 곰타나 조대 쌓야게 탑시야요 그래서.
So if you want to meditate on bodhicitta in order to eliminate the sufferings of other sentient beings, then that will be the best method to do that.
아야 준 담을래야 세가남 심제 몸보질래야 지 힘백이 샤워 몸보지 들잖아요. 니 샹심 섬공고래스.
And if you want to do something beneficial for many people, many sentient beings in the world, then you should meditate on bodhicitta as well.
근데 얘다 샹저고 샘대 추든지 섭실라 따요 말레스. 어떤 송거다.
And therefore you should not let the bodhicitta leave your mind for 24/7.
아 오늘 된대기 샹저고 샘대 간이래 샹저고 샘대 간이라고 지나치. 민 동아들이 여와이나. 나방 차들이 여와이나 아주 삼바이나.
And so if that bodhicitta is so beneficial, what is the bodhicitta? Is it something you can see or something you can touch?
아니 자사 참한 거 뭐라 뭐 도전이라. 샘제 반의 젠더를 쇼를 양다도비 상점데스. 샘제 세대 젠지 체더 상제 공부 토고도 삼벨. 아무나 젠지 테 체더 젤라 펜도야고 체고도 삼벨. 든디가 삼모당다지 랄라 그래스.
And so the bodhicitta is explained by Buddha Maitreya in his text, Ornament of Revelation. It's the mind wishes to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others. So that kind of mind is called bodhicitta.
봐봐. 먼저 점르나 니마타원다. 장접받아 다음에 접슴지. 나그 신소집에 숨는 돌아 표시 상전을 봐요. 나그 신소집에 숨는 돌아 표시 상전을 봐 쇼세 담아팅 아니 샘치된 거. 담보디 점로된 거.
So like when we do the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, the last two lines, through the practice of generosity and so forth, may I gain enlightenment for the benefit of all. So that shows the bodhicitta. And the first two lines explains about refuge.
제가 다 된리 샘도 간이 야보셔서 말했어. 다 가르치는 잘은 안가도 잠불래야 미 젬발라 페토 야보 중에 뭐 간리져는 미참이가 어다 미디 야보래. 미디 샤월랍 쳔보래. 미참은 가오치거든.
So why this mind of bodhicitta is very great, respected. It's because, like, in this world, someone who has a good thought towards others and does something good for the others, then that person will be praised and respected, right?
민고고 당장 수수 결기 캡선을 미 마유시들 마유시 안에 지 참바치들 참바치 고고다 근데 짱짱 제들 미 아니 딱 가고 지금도 남을랑아 좀 통신 용주령도 와.
And also, like, other person who only works for the benefit of oneself, for that reason, and then one tells lies, do the slanderings and so forth. So that kind of person who deceives others, we don't think of that person as great, right?
Right?
So in our conventional world, we have like that, right? We have that kind of feeling.
Right? Are you guys follow that? That indeed the impact is Sanji Chumden de Luni Tong Abjan Tos Mark, which I'm to see Japsha, that they tended the two red eyes, and I'm to the shade in the Turkey or Midi hour da Cardinal, Midi Miller Chamber of Pachigada, Midi Pento cigarettes, or Midi Maravio, Midi Mavi Shigada, Midi Gogo Dangarda, set that the Shining Azu, that told the Yamato.
Okay, this one has already been explained by Buddha Shakyamuni 2,500 years ago, but we now understand that, right? Like, someone who deceives others, who tells lies, and does bad things for one's own benefit is bad, and someone who does good for the benefit of others is good.
제가 남주 다 미지가 다 중도 남백의 샤주고 생제 지까지는 직시에 샤군도 샤주 센터 가능해서 봐나. 근데 간주 아그 신소집에 손은 별 놀라 편셔 상제들 버죠. 세대를 생대야고 잡나 다 샤주 센터도 레시자 토고.
So if someone were to ask you, oh, you Buddhists talk about bodhicitta, and what is bodhicitta? Can you explain? If you can explain the last two lines of that refuge and bodhicitta prayer, through the practice of giving and so forth, may achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all. So if you can explain that, then you have given the correct meaning of bodhicitta.
다 되게 싸워대 아니 야와 전방고 보고 송구도 제 갑당분을 하게 샘제 반 젠더 양다도 비상점 더스 어 식되게 되시 다디 때 싸워 차로.
And the root text of that, the root of that is explained in the text, the Ornament of Realization by Buddha Maitreya. This wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others.
오다 되게 싸워대 다 나도 간줄 투들 다 나도 간줄 나래야 아니 간줄래야 다 잡배 부 야당 제세 야당 시대네요 같이 되나 투들 아야 투사대.
And that can be traced to the Buddha's own word, like the Kanjur, that has there are like 104, 108 volumes of scriptures.
당가들 어느 다치 semchepan 제 양다 좀 비서 간지나 다 티시라고 문들은 다 갈. 수수고 즉 링아 예숨지 샤와 강 셰바데 젤라 펜토에 제데 인삼비 텐디가 사무실라 그래스.
So the mind, the generating the mind is to wish for enlightenment for the benefit of others.
아 오늘 드레데 간지 좀 그래요. 그냥 간수 젤라 제와야 보지요이나 제와 대가 왕그 아니 티체당 아주 내가 전화 제도 그래. 제와면은 제도 말해.
So how will we be able to generate that mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta? Is if we have a strong compassion towards others. If we don't have that, we will not be able to generate bodhicitta.
그러나 가서 마체직 상황이다. 나지 내가 제 간이 강체와 강가 현지 체대에 내 랍라기 체대에 내 컴퍼니기 체대에 내 남이기 체대에 빈자체 삼거려. 어때야? 레대야 보시라 레스.
So we do think sometimes like, oh, whatever I'm doing is for the benefit of my my company, for my job, for my family, for my friends, like that. So that's very good.
이나 대야 잡아들 대야 내에서는 등가서 건들려고도.
But that is mixed with the attachment. because he always says my, right? So my family, my friend, like that, my.
That tendeva social and Java yoda me pen todo mato can samala pen toya chede nilaga the chingy sambanata such another garura layor.
And so instead of, so I'm going to do this, to benefit everybody, whether they are related to me or not, whether they have benefited me or harmed me, for the benefit of all these beings, I'm going to do this. Right? If you think like that, then that becomes a little better, close to Bodhisattva.
That Chang to that island, Asian check to have been do as Magic Lega Chedeva de Tang Shadan Dig Lega Chesed to that and the Sham Niji Shanju with some Gomtela, young to Cholo Lega ticket to Mari.
And so when we talk about like, generating, doing something good, that's like generating bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, that kind of work, that kind of good deeds, not like doing something physically outside there.
Cheda ta kanda to shoke yala ta semche chama utang e chama ngana ji dewa de dunga mu chiba chisare. Chenza tundo chama dewa da dewe ji da damra chi dunga da dunga ji da trawra chi. Ende yong ta ngara rang ge chetowa ji sho le do samadana ta kno de yabo yong.
And so you have to think about this mind from the early in the morning, like soon after you wake up, you think about all sentient beings who are equal as myself, same as myself, and wanting to be happy and not wanting any suffering. And so may all these beings be free from suffering. May all these beings have happiness, and may I be able to bring that happiness to them. May I be able to help eradicate their suffering like that. So if you do that, then that helps to generate bodhicitta.
Eta de tido so pen nenga chemo da namjong so dona chram ba tina chasang de do ngazo ngone tinala nyeri chada nida chawe tamila ne lo da ngazo nyeri chada gi yangwa de chede yoro.
So those generating the four imaginables, I think that may all sentient beings be free from suffering the cause of suffering. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. And may all beings be free from bias, attachment, and hatred, and abide in equanimity. So we are very difficult. It's very difficult for us to have that mind, right? Because we have very strong bias, wishing some to be happy and not others, and so forth. So we have this very strong mind, not equal to all the beings.
Oje ta de do chena ta ani shonju na la kanje tendi ge phe chimbu shanju ge semde ya ma jewa jewa. Ani jewa kone konde pewa. Ani jewa munyamba. Ante kone pewa o tendi ge chero songo yorwa.
And so this text in the Back to the Bodhisattva Way of Life explains about how to generate bodhicitta, which we have not generated before, and how to maintain it so that it doesn't decline, and then how to increase more and more, which we have already generated.
제가 오늘 가서 파치잖아. 아니 shonju 단 대신 자 신이 자원나 샤주 샘조 럼보체 마제 바노 지지 자원이 뭐 고네 kon도 찌티나라 shonju 다 가로 제자 차상되되어서 봐.
And so that verse, it says the precious bodhicitta may be generated where it's not, and then that which has generated not decline but increase more and more. So if you read that verse, that one 4-line verse, then that includes the whole subject matter of this text, the Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life.
제자 어디지? 다 된리게 샹지고 샘디가 빼나 shonjulega tambo디 아니 샹지고 샘데 폐 첨보 여러 싫어요다스 네 폐인지lega 샹지고 샘고 폐데 야오 인고 쳐봐이나 오 단네 된리 폐 첨보는 가데 고군도 샘도 좋아래 그러와.
And so the first chapter of this Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life explains about the benefits of bodhicitta. So if you understand the benefits, then you will have the wish to generate that.
랑아조페는 잠을 총라고 하잖아. 총대 캡사지보다는 아래 나대 총대 작은도 상황이 그러와.
So for example, like in this world, if you want to do the business, some kind of business, then you have to see the benefit, right? Oh, then when you see the benefit, oh yes, I want to do that business.
아니 너와 상하지나 칼라 심보지거든 그 칼라 심보에서 나한테 사도도 섬으로.
It's like if you notice there's a particular restaurant where there's very delicious food. It's, oh, I want to go and eat there because the food there is very delicious.
Who likes to eat? Everyone like to eat, right? 그렇지. 제가 아니 배에다 하거나 나 대전인데 걸로 된 것도 신경도 배에다 하거나 대전인데 오바로 와.
So if you see the benefit, then you will have the interest to do that or go there and eat and so forth, right? If you don't see the benefit, you will not have the interest.
제가 남배 축은 대세 당보 때 아니 당보 저도 대세 맞지 레버때 만 란더로 하두근 레버때 대세 자가 변나 아니 파칭 감라고 하나 세당 대세 못인 당보 탐에 레버 남치에 된 대세 맞잖아 가지는 아니 대자소야 된디근 레버도 토야라 좋아요 아니 되는 야 되는 시대 예스 어두송 거야.
So like yeah, so you explain the result. Instead of explaining the cause, you explain the result. Because when you see the result, then it's, oh yes, so that's such a great result. Therefore, I want to do that. So in the perfection text, when it's explained, it explains first about the omniscient mind. So omniscient mind is the result of practicing and generating all that path. Right? To generate that path, you achieve the omniscient mind instead of full enlightenment. And so it explains about that instead of the seed. So when you see that's the result. So that is explained first. So when you see the benefit, then you want to study and practice.
오다 간다 단다 쉬운줄 내가 당보드가 가려고 그래도 계시나 되게 상점 셈세 되게 패드 시행이 그래 대sem나 삼고 그래 대소수 와더라고 쉬운줄 내가 당보 차서 놓서 되게 뭐보이 시에서 가리나 섬마도 가지고 또 되게 상점 셈 패드 시행이 요스 에고라고 그래.
And so this is what it is explaining in the first chapter of the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life. It's the benefit of bodhicitta. So you went through the whole book and then you say, oh, what did he talk about? And so you have to be able to understand that it's talking about the benefits of bodhicitta.
근데 패다고는 어떻게는 가라지 돈나 야보에서 레슨도 소화되겠다.
So when you have seen or realized the benefit, then you will have the wish and to have that mind. So I wish I could have this kind of mind.
근데 그 샘 깨고나 딱 가지고 수수 샘 싸움도 레스 다 주고 샘 주고 레스.
And then if you want to generate such kind of mind, then you have to purify your impure mind. You have to wash away impure mind.
다 대다 숲 슈첨보들 잡지. 아니 다 디셔워실로 주고 샘대 엄마도나 아니 샘 깨도 말해.
And so you have to make the mind very clean, just like you clean the dish in the dishwasher, very strong dishwasher. You clean the mind. So if you don't clean your mind, the impure mind, you will not be able to generate this pure mind of bodhicitta.
Don't get chemicals, okay? I want to watch my mind. I'm going to so the time pesa the young same time so the young to some Thomas and pesayo.
So yeah, so I don't think that you can wash your mind by drinking the detergent liquid.
제가 그냥 알아서 나래야 좀 계시지 소소고 뜨고 되는 나한테 싸워 속으로 와.
So just like when you want to invite a very important guest to your house, then you want to clean your house first, right?
대대 직장시 아니 샘라 샹주고 샘도 깨고나 샘도 싸마서 고나 다 싸마가지고 나 아니 야라되게 냠는데 되게 뜻바샤고 그래스 녀바도 받는다서 그래스.
So if you want to generate this special mind of bodhicitta, and then you have to first clean your mind. So you have to purify all the negativeness from your mind. So
제가 안에 레가 니반 디바샤베 레가라 그래. 야 니바샤베 레가스. 아니 싸마
so that you do through the practice of surveillance and so forth, and and so therefore the second chapter is called the chapter purifying the negativities, but like instead in this case, it's a disclosure of evil. Anyway, in short, you have to accumulate merit and purify the negativities. Anyway, this practice, so when you do the one, the other one, just done by itself. Like when you purify the negativities, your accumulation of merit would be done by itself. And when you purify when you accumulate the merit, then you also get the practice of purification done by itself.
Oh yeah. Oh, this Tendriga Tatama. Yading Yaman and Tosada Yaboche Kala, and Dakajana, and the Lego Samba. That's who Shanti and the Kewachago, yes, Shanti was also so levels.
And then once you have in your mind, then you have to generate bodhicitta, and then it says the full acceptance of the awakening mind.
So walking around, what did you? I think I the Namji Benahma, want to show Kalakan, Shanti sent with Tompason and the Tito. So much in the name where you like any but my word.
Subane.
Oh, somebody.
And so anyway, so in the practice of Tantra, where you generate bodhicitta, and the prayer, the ritual, for generating bodhicitta comes from here. Third chapter.
간제 초가단 레베 식단 레베 돈에 간제 섬을 담고 그래 된다 된리가 섬을 담다데 아니 내가 섬만 나서 그래.
And so according to the ritual, for generating bodhicitta in the practice of the Tantra, you have to generate mind. That ritual, is according to the text in this third chapter.
근데 너 집안다 알아서 지 넘블에게 내서 가리 시도지가 나. 식단 레베 아니 연락 하고 제가
So it's the same, in this world also, like, right, if you, have to understand something, then you have to depend on the word. So by depending on the word, you understand the meaning.
다 대상 유튜브도 오늘 나가도 가르치고 있는 대나 그거 제여로 열단이 무슨 때가 비치고로.
So like if you don't do anything, you can go and check on YouTube, and then you have to watch the YouTube, the video in the YouTube, and then take a notes from there. And then you do whatever you want to do.
오다가도 비나 실록 비나 칼라스라도 실록 피지컬로도 이 딱이 전에 때 제가 나지 나 샘게 사무다다야 준줄래가 선바데 아니 말로치 대단하로 사무다니 샹치sem데 수도기라 끼워치고 그래서.
And just like by watching the YouTube the video, you can learn or understand how to make certain things or how to cook certain food and so forth. That's like that by looking at or by reading or studying the third chapter of this Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, you should generate bodhicitta. So these three chapters, the first, second, and third, is for generating bodhicitta, which has not been generated before.
And then
once you have generated bodhicitta, what you have to do? Can you just leave it there, or no? You can't just leave it there. You have to maintain it. You have to protect it from degenerating. And so then the next three chapters explains about that.
아니 티가도 송고야 가는도 제고야 가는도 제마고 가는도 샤지고 섬 냐면 이제 가르샤 샤지고 섬 공배당에 이제까지 두루 섬보다 전배 맞아 제고 그래서 제발해 아니 보여야 돼.
And so then the fourth chapter is called the conscientiousness, being very conscientious, like with the mindfulness. So what do you have to do? What do you have to watch? What do you have to not do? What do you have to remember? What do you have to not forget? And all these things. So with the mindfulness, and you be conscious about that.
다 아니 원래는 학원에 자주는 그 대말이었어. 아니 내가 나왔디. 시징 송 다들 송고 그랬어. 나 라네다고 그랬어. 내가 또 트럼라고 트럼.
And then just by understanding that, can you just live there? No, you can't just live there. You have to, guard it with alertness.
어때 맞이나 가르나? 대 맞지 대 아니 지워가나 다 아니 가로 근데 샤지고세 마냐메게 아니 예바 두쇼데 코로레스 엔다 다 조공고레스 레가 투바용 거와.
So if if you do not guard it with alertness, and then there will be danger of degenerating the bodhicitta, right? And so what causes one to degenerate, is the anger. The biggest, the enemy, that can cause us to degenerate the bodhicitta is the anger. And so for that, you have to practice patience. And so that's the 6th chapter. So that you follow that sequence, right?
가와 돈도 써봐야 전당 대신 졸어서 레제 강에 대기냐 코로 중에 저 간제 가와 돈좀 야다 뭐 깔리 잡샤발라 때니 제비 상저고 샘 라서바 상저도 냠네 라서바 아니 코로 쳔보 지게나 강감해와 차도레스.
And so this 3 explains about maintaining or generating guarding the bodhicitta, without letting it degenerate. And so just like you said, whatever wholesome deeds. So what causes us to degenerate is the anger. So he says whatever wholesome deeds, such as venerating the Buddha and generosity that have been amassed over 1,000 years will all be destroyed in one moment of anger.
다들 저 sabzabkaji dik kanto shiwa yeme jiwe senyena kanji sozo ji sambashira jibo mewe kabla sabdu chekore dik kabla nyega mahayo kores.
And so what causes us to be angry, it's like this text also, right? The mental unhappiness, it's like the fuel, for anger. So therefore we have to be very careful about not being unhappy, not having this mental unhappiness.
제가 도성원에 가더라도 남준 삼성 가서 선배 찍고 사람 해볼 거라야 이 된다 처음에 만나 즉 미지기 도와지 라와나 쿠로사 추천로 레기도 남주 소소직 보분이오이나 대오 소들나 쿠로사가 작도 된다 임문대와까지 선배 찍으면 와지 선배 마대 와라고.
So like sometimes when you are unhappy, right? When you are unhappy, like mental unhappiness, like when you are unhappy, right? And it's very easy to get angry when you are unhappy. Even if somebody that feels very close to you, who is very close to you, if they say something or they appear to you, then you can get angry towards them very easily. Because when you are unhappy, you are stressed or something going on that's making you unhappy, and then at that time it's very easy to get angry.
다들 막 당에 노도로죠. 다 진짜 다들 가서 검토 뭐나 고토를 해서 겁날래고 막 땡긴다 가리 권바이나 가리나 제토를 해서.
Then you might think, oh, this is so difficult to practice patience, to overcome anger. It's so difficult. No, it's not. Of course it's difficult, but it is possible, with the familiarity. So if you are familiar with that, then it will be easy to generate that. So there's nothing whatsoever that is not made easier through acquaintance. So if you are acquainted with that, then it will be easy, to generate patience and to overcome the anger.
뭐지? 제가 나 전화도 담보인데 레벨까블야 난조디 이렇게 돈이 아니 너만들 와서 전화도 공매와다 담보 레벨까도 와. 근데 갈래갈래지 대선놓고 가나 나 마음 올라오는데 용도 와.
And just like when you first came to the center, you find it very difficult to read those texts, the Tibetan text phonetic, the phonetic text. But then when you read once and twice and like that, and so for long time with reading, and then it becomes easier and easier. Now many of you have even memorized it already.
강들 아니 도치 저와 고마이나 아니 소소 곰로 곰나 깔래요 말했어. 옌바이나 디가블라 깔래 먹어야 돼. 너무다 갑자기 딱 거와 인자. 아니 초바자가 깔레모보 요레스 가발랍 차임바스.
And so, of course, if you become familiar with it, then it becomes easier. Then it will be easier, but it's difficult because there are so many delusions that you have to fight with to overcome that.
제가 아니 쇼로코 니시담반에 가도도와 뇨몬 남다 인제라 인제테나 나와 망스 가지 뇨모라 카페 잡을 조여원 너무 뭐 보여레스 깔레모 보여레스
뇨모 가서 니시들을 봐.
니시들와 뇨모 알마레마 니시타치들 죽고들이죠. 뇨모 남다 인제라 인제테나 나와 망.
And just like it says in the verse 19, it says, even when the wise are suffering, their minds remain very lucid and undefiled. For when the war is being waged against disturbing conception, much harm is caused at the time of battle.
근데 저도 뺑 내가 아니 근데 절로 인식을하다 동아 탐지 체세네 셰달라서 단점바 대다 야제 파워데스 다텔라 파워모니 데레스 안제 동아 체드 세네 아니 동아 당리제서 봐 곰네 셰달라서 트라판 좀 텔레파 제트가 다 파워모니 달라 그레스.
Then in the verse 20 it says, the victorious warriors are those who, having disregarded all sufferings, vanquish the foe of hatred and so forth, common warriors, slay only corpses, right? So the victorious warriors, so victorious is like the heroes, right? Are those who, being disregarded all sufferings, vanquish the foe of hatred. So those who vanquish the foe of hatred is the real hero.
제가 강도 지텔라야 아니 지금 미라고 셋 자잡도는 다 밑에 파워를 나가러와. 에이저도 노르다 주소는 지나 된 노르데요레스.
And so, like the common warriors, those who think are heroes, right? So those who have killed, the opposition, the parties or the enemies, right? In the war, those who have killed. So that's not a real hero from the Dharma point of view, of course.
단디가데 고심을 내는 것을 봤나. 뇨모 당들 왜나 동아 당지 서왔어야 돼 간지 수수고 강에 가리셔나 샘식 맞아왔지 수수고 샘 맞아왔지 고르다 때려져 좋대.
So in this here, like disregarding all the suffering, means like you are voluntarily accepting the suffering, right? So the patients are voluntarily accepting the suffering. So instead of that, you can say like not being bothered by the suffering.
어떤에 제나 아니 뇨모도 일을 개와라 뇨모 코 놓지 마도 말았어.
So if you are able to make the suffering not bother you, then you have gained victory over the battle.
제가 들어야지 동아다 강에 쇼자 원래 telaya 돈에 맞지 라고잖아. 돈에 맞지 라고 말돼. 간지 딘디 갑라 수수 셈 맞고지. 근데 답을 잡스. 대잖아. 저는 telaya 잡터버려. 잡아라. 저 보험은 잡아라.
So it doesn't mean that you should not accept the suffering at all. If you are not bothered by that, if you are able to make yourself not bothered by that, not disturbed by that harm or suffering, then you have gained victory over that.
또 내가 안돼 고아로 다 저와 공부는 다 가르쳐나 미가 가르쳐나 시간까지 다 땡가 곰대하셔. 된지 싸우니라고 말아.
So when we say practice patience, doesn't mean just take the beatings and and just sit there and without moving or escaping like that. Doesn't mean that.
그래서 미지처럼 못할 쉬었나. 그판 간제 주어지다 간제 고니 되게 뭐라 봤상거든요. 수수 셈 맞추었지. 아니 너도 상거래. 어다 되잖아. 아니 녀모 일을 잡아. 간제 컨트롤 일을 잡았어. 뭔가
So if you like, if say somebody hit your car, right? Somebody hit your car with their car, and doesn't mean that you just sit, you should just stay there and quiet and accept it and don't say anything. It doesn't mean like that. Okay? So that's not practicing patience. But at that time you should say, oh, you hit my car and you have to pay and so forth. But your mind should not be disturbed. Your mind should not be under the influence of like self-grasping, self-cherishing mind, or self-grasping ignorance, or anger, right? So all this my lost and so forth. So not being disturbed by the delusions. So if you ever do that, then you have gain a victory over the battle, with the delusion.
아직 직된 되나 소소지 단 직된 게 알아서 파티 뭐 마토지 대 아니 일을 잡아라요. 아니 지 선도 두도 강가라 간지 가서 헬로 잡았지 대체도 쇠지나요. 아니 그 엄마들의 타야가 간지 탑시 마 요러와.
그래서
아니 간지 직된들은 가서 마로 들어와나 간지 그게 맨다다 가면 가르다 될라 갑배잖아요. 소소 제와이나 아니 그때 타야가 탑시 요러와. 바 갑배도 마다지 들어와나다고 밤에 힘바로.
So like even in this world, like when there's a war going on, right? And somebody's using the weapons to battle with you, and then if you don't use it, you use any weapons from your side, and you just sit there or let the weapons hit you, or you escape, then that's enough. Then definitely you lose the battle, right? You lose the war or the battle.
제가 딱 가서 코로 사도 지올라 딱 미디 그거 야부치면서 때문에 거 갑대잖아 뭐지 먼저서 대체잖아 나도 뇨mol을 팜서 버려 근데 소소 낙차 섬 들어가 집버려 제가 뇨mol도 사는 것도 팜지 딱 가서 간지 종을하고 대 많이 많이 걸 콜 갑대자 그다 삼당다 이래스 콜 파타에 요래스 소소 샘 투마치 와이나 아니 딱 뇨mol을 봐 이렇게 제도로.
So if somebody were to say something bad or do something bad to you, and then you say, "Oh, this person did bad to me. I'm going to do the same thing back to that person," like that. So we think that's like, protecting ourselves or trying to gain or win the fight and so forth. But that like that, then you are under the control of the delusion, and then that only brings suffering and create more problems. But without being disturbed by that kind of delusions, just saying, okay, so he did this, this is because he's under the influence or the control of the delusions. He did that, so I should not do the same way like that. So if you do that, react in that way, then you are not influenced or disturbed by that delusion.
다 간드라 가르쳐줬나? 아니 내차 세당 콘트롤의 수지를 깨나 수지워요 말했어. 대체로 맨날 저한테 맞춰와 답이 정확하고 대체로나 저랑 아는 놈을 달리 자와래. 그냥 원원에 들어서.
So if we have the anger or attachment, then our mind will not be happy. And so do something that so that your mind doesn't get more attachment or more anger. Then when you do that, then you have again victory over the delusions.
대마도 그나 잠을래야 옛날다 미자도 생기지는 미드 파워라 그러고 대코서 그런 저 세나마도 고깔게 신도 그래. 근데 저나 롤라 가로 예바탄 치바레스 답변이 다 주셔놓으시는 데서 그래.
And so like in this world, we say somebody who have killed like 100 of people of the of the enemy side, then we say, oh, that person is a hero. But from the Dharma point of view, that person is not a hero. Because that those people that he killed, they're going to die anyway, right? And so it's like no difference from killing a corpse.
다 근데 쇼로가 뉴스 이스타치 바데가 단 딩하라 가서 랍다데 쇼로가 담보네 배나 단다발랑가도 동아 단들면서 봐세데 도도 틀면 시거 제가 단 가블야 동아 단지서 와 되게 연다 도도 지금 쇼로가 이스타치 되게.
And then the verse number 21, gives the abbreviated version of this practice, of voluntarily accepting the sufferings, the patience of voluntarily accepting the sufferings.
야마나 동아 모시바치바, 야나 동아 고바이나 페가리레스.
And what benefits are there, if you understand the sufferings.
Okay, what's benefit? Your meditation suffering.
동학의 표현이 그래.
야마나 대바, 야마나 동아 페여레스, 동아라 연대 여레스. 만에 연대, 동아가 연대.
Sorry, not benefit.
Yeah.
Quality, good quality. What is the good quality of suffering?
If you develop compassion for others, do you think they have the same, this is what others are going through, this kind of suffering?
It's good. You have some difference, yeah.
It helps to reduce your arrogance and renounce.
Good. How are you guys? Sleeping there? Have some tea, snack, relax. What's the good quality for the surfing? What's the good quality for experience for surfing? Yes, Deborah?
Well, if we're not suffering, it's easy to think, oh, I see these other people and it's so sad, they're suffering, but we should have had this inner attitude that I'm above that. I don't have that happen to me. Then when it happens to me, we say, oh, it could happen to me also. And, we're all the same, has potential for happiness and difficulty. So it really does dispel arrogance.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Anything? Cheza? Yes. Yes, Margaret?
Well, yeah, I agree. It makes you less arrogant, makes you humble, and maybe you have more fear, and it will make you turn your mind towards wanting to practice the Dharma.
Okay, good. Cheza? Nganzo nasa tan nganzo shidan nerik shija zabji nganzo kadine nagyore na shidan nasa de musna ya da masna ya yo keshetina.
And so we have all kinds of diseases, right? So we're inflicted by all kinds of 444 diseases. So is it good to recognize the disease or not?
제가 그렇게는 제외는 가도 대파 나타도 차야다 나타들 매대 가도 고정거로.
So if you recognize it, then you'll have the opportunity to get instructions and take the right medicine and be free from that, right?
제가 가도 동화에 뭐 시바이나 되게 팽 가르 토르나 동화에 탄적으로 찍어냈어. So if we
realize the suffering as a suffering, then we'll have the wish to be free from that.
제가 맨날 단다 지난주 법대 전화발라는지 그래서 먼저 소소라 동하고 강에 때 무슨 바이나 근데 시내 젠세대 까리 첨보연 바 젠되게 펜토고요와 젠을 잡고 와야 돼 시는 가서 소알leg도 와.
So just like Bob and Jennifer said, like if we understand the suffering, then we'll realize that, oh, this is something that we have to benefit, have to depend on others, and then we realize the kindness of others.
제가 dengar아 냠뇨로 쟤는 남중간 하면 더 남아냐다 난이 때 못했다 나요 갑라야 아니 출통을 뭐지 라발 마트는 통통 나라 대갑라 뭐세도 뭐네 젠세도 땡고도 사비 남중간도 가디나 땡라고도 다 삼좀 초와 요에서는 삼좀 매워서는 근데 갈라 뭐네 젠세도면은 다 개개 잼도선도 초와도 따다 뇽아 되고도.
So this is from my own experience. I never had a very strong, serious disease, but last year when I was in an accident, and I was in the situation where I had to depend on others, and without others, and I couldn't even have a glass of water. So then I really see that when I'm going through that kind of suffering, that I really see that how much I have to depend on others, and how kind are others. So, but other time, you say we always talk about that, but we don't really get the feeling. But when you suffer, then you really get the feeling.
아니 네 배자 내가 쇼로그님만 소소 가자되면 잘로서 땡문에도 가자되면 잘로도.
And just like this, through being disheartened with it, so its arrogance is dispelled. And then, you're thinking that, oh, I'm so good, I'm so independent, I'm so great, I can do all by myself. Like that kind of thought, that kind of arrogance, and will be subsided.
예전에 믹스에 때는 루만 대기 다 믹조는 말 루만 대기 반다 가로. 공식이잖아요. 미참아 nga 수절 땡고 나랑가 제토고 요섬 다 누가 계셔도 개말 가지 공식이랑 대충 보이도 와. 니마지 소소 제 마다는 미 셴베 저 맞아라저로. 대치가 갈라 나랑 제토고 요섬 직다 맞아 세고 나가지 대 kum ranja malando 와.
So like in this country, I'm not saying bad, but this they have many people have this habituation, thinking that I'm independent, I can do all by myself. I don't need your help like that. I can do by myself. But then when you fall in that kind of situation, then there's nothing but to depend on others.
제가 또 샤쇼도 너쇼 섬당당 말아 아니 즉 공시당 록소당 거절 말아와도 영어로 왔다 쇼시도.
And it's just the habituation of people, like habituated with that thought or that a way of thinking by being with the people around them. So they always talk about, oh, you have to be independent like that, or something like that. And so that's the difference of the people from the West and the East.
제가 내바로 이제 소소고 다제 투나 맞지 미션을 제주마다 안가랑가 제도였어. 아나 되게 소소고 제마다 미션을 당 소소고 양치 소소 마치 요거 자료로 된대지 소소 소발랭도 와. 소소 제마다 당가 요거 자는 미션을 지금 레고요 와. 된게 초아들은 생기 자료가 내제 용도 와.
Then sometime, then because you always think that I'm independent, I'm strong and can do by myself like that. And then when you have to depend on others, then you become really disheartened. You become very sad, or that you don't feel happy. But on the other time, when you are used to helping, asking for others for help, then you don't feel bad at that time.
제가 생대배 세워도 동화를 연락하나 소소를 동화셨나 소소지 나자도 말하라고 그랬어. 총도 그랬어.
So this verse is very clear, right? So when you have the suffering, your arrogance, is dispelled. You will be reduced.
야타를 못 쳐야 누소리. 동화기 냠내 닦으러. 동화 공부는 다 냠내 있네. 하정 그렇지 뭐래. 하정 그 내가 쳐 버렸어. 소리.
So Geshe Rinpoche, in his commentary on this Untitled Buddhist Way of Life, he said, meditating on the suffering is very important.
제가 가르나 텔레텐데 소소고지 나자대 파 총으로 그랬어. 아니 얘라야 아단 대단 대답에 동화만 오셔서 아니 이제 영화가 팽그레스.
And so because through that suffering, no one will be able to dispel the arrogance, and then also by through that suffering, then we can have compassion towards others by thinking, may others not go through such kind of suffering like I'm going through.
다 나중에 게 아니 가로 텐데기 가지 딜란 듯이 갤라가스 텐데기 동화도 용화데 점게 왜서 좋아하다 아니 드발은 제그레스 아니 개발을 판주그레스.
Then by going through their suffering, it says as the compassion arises for those in cycle existence, and evil is shunned and joy is found in virtue. And so because you understand that suffering, comes from the evil actions, right? And so the evil is shunned, and then in order to be happy and free from suffering, one has to practice virtue. Then also joy is found in virtue.
아직도 내가 찾아도 검문으로 들으지 니마로 돼요나 소소 텐데기 니마다라고요나 얘라야 제때 내가 가르쳐도 대들에 텔레 슈잡았지 텐데기 니마다라야라지 마치 것도 파 소소 마요치도 장 탑시그러 와 된다고.
So like when you're working in a company and through doing some work, you can get rewarded. Then you want to have that reward for yourself. Then you will see what you can do to get that reward, and anything that prevents you from getting the reward, you will try not to do that, right? Like that.
제가 대용도 앞에나 소소를 냠뇨요나 아니 미시엠발라 sometimes 답대도 소소를 냠뇨도 메나 아니 미시엠발라 지금 소스legme도.
So if you have the experience within yourself, then it's easy to have that feeling for others. if you don't get the experience yourself, then it is hard to get that kind of feeling for others.
저도 손 왜?
Did you ever have a toothache?
Everyone have? I got toothache here. Basically, usually I don't much feeling. People say, "Oh, I have toothache." I say, "It's not serious." Now I got toothache. It's very serious. Then I can, oh yeah, people say toothache is very serious. Oh, that's true. Now, if you check out, you feel, oh, I don't have tooth. And you have nothing much to do. 제가 얘기도 아니 가로 동아티 소소 무슨마지 학코잖아. 아니 텔레는 연대까지 텔레 탄도글로 제거래. 텔레 탄도글로 때 동아 연대를 라비 동아 그런 약을 라게 맞아요.
So the good quality, of this suffering, is that when you have it, you will have you will have the wish to be free from it. And so that's having the wish to be free from it is the good quality. That's what it means, not the suffering itself.
미치라 동바야 보죠잖아. 아무튼 동바냐 인지고 이거나. 그러니까 당가도 내셔도 인삼 당가제 침모시 요로와.
So someone who has a very beautiful face, will think that, oh, I'm the most beautiful, right? And I will have very strong arrogance, right?
내 쪽으로 쇼나. 아니 되게 내가 야수인 사람이 가져다 놨다 넣어잖아.
But if there is some kind of faults on the face, like a pimple or sore and so forth, then that kind of arrogance, thinking that I'm the most beautiful, will be gone, will be dispelled.
다야 뭐지변나 깨시야는 개발을 어떻게 해봐나? 아니 뭐지 신인다고 쳐봐이나? 이깔을 딱가 미강에 오는 통샤사, 등족체사, 예시나 캐주도 삼공하자요. 뭐지 그 신인다고 쳐샤가는 대노중이 뭐 무슨 말이나? 아니 그 뭐가 야수인 사람이 가져다 놔도.
And then same with somebody who is very good at speaking, just by listening to his speech, people will trust him, people will praise about him, all these things, and then that person will think that, oh, I'm a very good speaker. But then someday, if he says something that causes problem, and then that day he will realize that, oh, I'm not the best speaker, and his arrogance, thinking that he's the best speaker, will be dispelled also.
제가 네가다 가지 예바데 가로 예바고 다 동아데 무슨 말나 텔레드네 소소고 나자도 뭐 총도 그래서 때문에 로도 배는 소나시 용도.
So if you realize the faults in yourself and the sufferings, then that will help. That will of course dispel the arrogance. And just like it is said in the text, it is really true, right?
제가 다 먼저 타마 소나나 지금 소나들은 조선난 용이지나 아 때문에 소나는 요로서 저 밑에 소제로 매나 소게 제가 말와.
So like if you had gone through the suffering of toothache, and then someone complains about toothache, then you will have a sympathy for that person, right? But otherwise, if somebody says, if you haven't gone through that experience of toothache, and then somebody complains about toothache, then you will have not much feelings for that person.
대전에 아니 딜라데 아니 소나야 너무 마사를 나도 너무 사이드 녀탄 그레스 딜라데시스 갤라가드 아니 소데 두야다 상와서야 베테체그레 너 거는 자야도.
And then, so if you, if you don't want to have that suffering of toothache, and then you will, stop, the things that will cause the toothache, like, like eating lots of candies and so forth, right? And then you will be, just like it says, shunned. Evil is shunned, so you will stop eating lots of candies, and then the joy and virtue is found. Then you say, okay, you have to like brush your teeth. What do you call that? Flush your teeth with the floss, right? Floss and all these things. So you will use that, So that's like same thing, found. You will find the happiness, or you will make an effort, to use those things. So it's like that joy found in virtue. So you can apply like that to anything.
제가 다 용도 가운 제거도스나 semba machi wat 제거도 다 semba machi wala 사주 제거도 삼대 내내 대고도
And so that's what you have to understand there. So where this comes from, this comes from the mental unhappiness. So I have to be conscientious about that.
And it's simple mantra, which is the tabji those.
Then I have to apply means to not disturb my mind, for mind to be not disturbed.
Okay, yes, Michelle.
I'm just going to add also, I think that understanding of suffering allows us to appreciate happiness more.
Yeah.
And it allows us to rejoice more in other people's happiness because we know the difference of suffering and happiness.
That's good. So
he says the good is not, if you don't say the good is good, then the bad would be spoiled.
yeah, that's good. Okay. Any questions? Yeah,
so that's concludes about the suffering. I'm sorry, the patience of accepting the sufferings. And so then if you can just read through all the verses and then understand the meaning of each verse, and then come to this verse and understand the whole meaning of that subject. Yeah,
okay, you have to go eat. Therefore, read the verse 20, 19, 20, 21. You want to read, right? Therefore, read this and think about that and more meditation. It's a very powerful, very strong or important word. Okay, and this is how to practice. When we read some book, not just leave all the books like that. We need to take some instant essence of the text, something like that. Otherwise, you close book, you have no idea what they talk about. Today, what we talk about, we talk like almost 1.5 hours. Which is like he go up, down, everywhere. And the main things we need to recognize for the sufferings. When you recognize the sufferings, you have that also motivation or thinking to, okay, how can I get out of that? And also, if you have think that, when you recognize your suffering, also it reduces our egos, right? Therefore, also is develop your compassion for others. And also, like you keep your own mind. Be careful, don't create the negatives. The more do the virtuous actions. This is like all the meaning this morning talking about. And don't think, oh, he's gonna talk here. I've taught you all information. We're not able to read whole this chapters, therefore we just in conclusion a little bit, okay? Okay, I think that's it. And Tamshus is gone. My English is finished. The English is very expensive right now. There are no gas very expensive like that. You cannot add more English. My English is finished. The limit, but in a limit, usually the limit things more. What's that? Gold is very rare. They want that gold. It's over that. You have to move here. You have to move. Where are you? He's eating that. Gold, right? We say gold is very, very rare. Important. My English is very important because very limit. Anyway, okay. What we learned today? The suffering is not bad. Why? We can learn a lot of things from that. We can develop more compassion for others. Also, we watch our mind more careful. We learn that, okay? Then it's true or not, you can check. Okay? The next week, we are not going to class. Saturday, Sunday is no Sayadawa. Recite. You can recite Oman Pema, okay? But not Zoom. Oman Pema, we don't have to do the Zoom. You can recite your home. People can come here. Okay? And means, I'm going to recite Oman Pema from 9:30 to 4 a.m. The Tibetans also come. If you're comfortable, come here. If not, you can recite at your home. Okay? Everyone got it? Oman Pema, last week, His Holiness gave the 1,000 arm series initiation. What he said, he do recite a lot of Oman Pema homes. In the morning, he will get up, he recite for Lama Tsongkhapa's dependent ordination, prayers dependent origination, then he recite Oman Pema home. When you recite, if you are sadhana, if you get already an initiation, you are able to recite follow the sadhana. If you don't have the sadhana, you can also recite in your home. Read the dependent origination, then recite Oman Pema home. The Oman Pema home, Om is the head of the letter. Mana Peme, Mana talk about a method. Peme talk about the wisdom. Therefore, in order to free from suffering or enlighten, we have only two practices, wisdom and method. Therefore, the Oman Pema also includes all the Buddha's teaching in that. Now, as we are all traditions, mana is symbolized jewel. The India, when you have the jewel, you put the jewel on the high place, then your offerings, prostrations, you can get things whatever you want. That this is an example, but mana is, it's a method, a compassion, bodhicitta, loving kindness. When you practice compassion, loving kindness, bodhicitta, what we talk about today is very benefit. But in order to free from the samsara complete, we need to also understand the reality. And the peme is the lotus flower usually. The lotus flowers come out in a very dirty place. It's not clean place, right? Very muddy. But the mud is not nature of the person. The flowers is not nature of the mud. Choice it. Become very beautiful flower that. Therefore, example like that, our mind is renown with the delusions, but our mind is not nature of the delusion. Therefore, we able to reduce the delusion, our mind become clear up. Therefore, it's talk about the emptiness, understand the reality of all the phenomena. Then we have this true practice, method, and wisdom. Think about that. When you recite Man Pema, think about it, meditation of compassion, bodhicitta, or meditation of emptiness. And home is also never separate, the true method and wisdom. Inseparable. You see? A very small one, Oman Pema, very powerful. And also one hand said, as usually, Oman Pema was the compassion Buddha's mantra. Our Lokiteshvara is compassion. Basically, with the Tibetan people, is more peace, compassion. Not everyone. So why? Because they have very strong connection with the compassion Buddha. Therefore, if you want very compassion, recite Oman Pema. Not think Oman Pema is a very symbol. I need to do some sadhana. I need to do something special. No, Oman Pema is very special. When we have the money pills, money pill, right? The money pills also blessing for the Oman Pema. They recite right now, Dharamsala, the monks, and they're doing the puja for the blessing for the money pill. The Lord of blessing things from His Holiness or the other teachers. They make the pill, and the blessing, then after His Holiness also blessing. And we take. Basically, they have a lot of benefits. Therefore, Oman Pema is not very simple, small ones. Therefore, everyone, whenever you don't, You don't have to always say mala, you know, whenever you go to your driving, you say Oman Pema. Like that. Okay? Like that, okay? This is a homework. Everyone got it, right? Next week, no presume. The people come here, they can come here. You can go to recite Oman Pema, or you can recite all home. Got it, right?
What is the homework? To do the recitation?
Recitation Oman Pema home 30,000. No, I'm joking. Everyone do that as much as you can, okay? It's also one of the, we follow His Holiness advice. You know, he said, I think the English also they have translated. He said, he's going to message for everywhere to recite Oman Pema. Okay? Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thanksgiving mandala offering on page 39. Sanji
Ji jamme do rana jenya de jamba de sanji ji dame de roganam do jena jo boy jo
Jitsun Lame
Kutsera de je namgan tele jo je je ba lo zan de de sa rove mi je de ne jo chi
Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. From my two collections, vast is space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread of decline, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that stone-mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig be made in life till samsara zen. This will hold my prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So Chang Jing Jang Gan Wei Tenzin Kyong Tel Wei Kun Zo Do Po Ze Chok Sum Go Wei Lei Pam Tu Dru Da So Du Je Du Jia Te. Pray to always meet with perfect teachers, Your form embodies all Buddhas, your nature is that of Vajradhara, and you are the root of the three jewels. Homage to you, O Gurus. In short, I seek your blessings, O Protector, to be cared by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body's feature. O Protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana spiritual master, the source of every virtue in this world and beyond. In his care, may I acquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them flawlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them to perfection. May I never, even for a moment, fall under the sway of malevolent teachers and misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and the pure view, may I embark upon them continually with effortless experience. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by means of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest enlightenment. 875 and 8 Sema.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Geshe.
everyone.
Thank you, Geshe.
Have a good day. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.